So let's just get started here because it is 2 p.m. Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us for our webinar on bridging UI gaps in S/4HANA with quick to deploy solutions. I'm Natalie. I'm the marketing manager at Synactive Inc. And I am so excited to talk to you about user adoption and UI. So this will be a really snappy webinar. It's going to be about 20 minutes or less. So we won't have time for any questions, but throughout the webinar, please leave your questions in the chat and we will most definitely get back to you with some answers. So let me be upfront. This webinar is about improving user adoption in SAP. That's our real focus. Um, and hopefully everyone can hear me. Um, please let me know in the chat if I'm not audible, actually. So I'm just going to keep going, but give me one moment. Okay, so let me be upfront. This webinar is about improving user adoption in SAP, and that's going to be our real focus today. And UI gaps are one of the biggest barriers to adoption. When the system doesn't align with how users actually works, it creates frustration, inefficiencies, and low adoption rates. So today, we'll explore how addressing UI gaps with quick-to-deploy solutions can improve user adoption and drive better outcomes and better return on your SAP investment. And here's how we'll break this down. We'll start by understanding user adoption and why it is so critical and where organizations usually face challenges. We'll then explore how tailoring SAP interfaces around actual work processes will significantly improve adoption. We'll share a real-life success story with Tyson, showing how they optimized user adoption in plant maintenance and fleet management. We'll explain why Liquid UI is uniquely suited to help organizations like yours deliver these challenges. And finally, we'll provide some actionable steps you can take to drive adoption. And again, if you have any questions at all throughout the webinar, please feel free to just leave them in the chat and we will get back to you. So, understanding user adoption in S/4HANA. So we have clients who've made the journey or are currently on their way to S4 for various reasons, whether it's the in-memory database, predictive analytics, gateway to integrate AI, or many other reasons and benefits. But on or after their journey to S4, our clients have discovered something. Regardless of the ERP version, user adoption continued to be a challenge. When we talk about user adoption in SAP, we mean more than just users logging in and completing tasks. Adoption is about how effectively users integrate SAP into their workflows, how easily they can perform tasks, and whether the system is a tool for the end user opposed to a hindrance. And why is this so important? Whether it's a plant operator managing production lines, a maintenance technician ensuring equipment runs smoothly, or a warehouse worker handling inventory, the ability for your end users to do their job well directly impacts the efficiency and output of the entire organization. But their role doesn't just stop there. It's not just about completing tasks, it's also about the data they generate while doing so. So every action they take feeds critical information into SAP, and it's that data or lack of data that affects decision making upstream. So when user adoption is low, operational efficiency suffers because users struggle to complete tasks. Data quality is compromised, leading to gaps or errors in decision making, and the return on your SAP investment is diminished because the system isn't being used to its full potential. Improving UI doesn't just make daily tasks easier for your end users, it ensures your SAP systems delivers delivers on what your business depends on. But even in S4 with modern solutions like Fiori, user adoption can still be a challenge. And let's dig into a little bit of why that is. So, one, misaligned workflows. Standard SAP interfaces, whether in GUI or Fiori, are very robust and they're designed for broad use cases, but they don't always align with workflows specific to your business. Number two, complex processes. Day-to-day tasks often require navigating through multiple screens or fragmented apps. And three, user frustration. These complexities slow users down, create resistance, and ultimately hinder adoption. These challenges highlight the need for a closer alignment between the system and the way users actually work. Addressing adoption challenges isn't just about using modern tools, it's making sure that those tools align with your users' workflows. Adoption improves when interfaces are simplified to remove unnecessary steps and when workflows are tailored to meet the specific needs of your users. So, when we're talking about S4, of course, um, Fiori works well for simple workflows like approvals or in the financial modules, but it can feel less intuitive for more complex processes. We've been told that in some processes in like plant maintenance or fleet maintenance, it can feel like Fiori replaced the transaction codes from SAP GUI with a more modern launchpad, but the underlying complexity of the workflow remains for the end users. Um, for those users, especially on the plant floor or in less tech-savvy roles, this complexity can create frustration and slow down adoption. And that's where tools like Synactive's Liquid UI comes in. Liquid UI doesn't replace Fiori or SAP GUI, it complements them. By tailoring the interface to fit specific workflows, Liquid UI helps streamline tasks, reduce unnecessary steps, and make the user experience intuitive and productive. So let me show you how this works in practice with a real life example. So Tyson Foods is a global meat manufacturer and uses SAP for plant maintenance, fleet maintenance. Tyson Foods faced these exact challenges of frustrating and complex UI we've been talking about, and this led to poor data quality, low productivity, and resistance from users. Typically, in plant maintenance or fleet maintenance, Tyson end users would need to create a work order, issue parts for that work order, and confirm how long it took. And on standard SAP GUI, to complete this, it takes three different transactions, about 15 screens, and and about like up to 80 fields. Some you fill out and some you don't. And on Fiori, the process is broken up into tiles. So instead of navigating through transaction codes, you'd navigate through Fiori tiles. So it'd still take about three apps, nine screens, and up to 30 fields to complete the management of one work order. And while Fiori improves the user experience with better design, it doesn't fundamentally consolidate the steps. Users still navigate through similar workflows and fields. So Tyson users needed something more consolidated and not just visually easier, but functionally more intuitive and streamlined. And that's where Liquid UI came in. Using Liquid UI, Tyson redesigned their SAP interfaces to consolidate tasks like creating notifications, work orders, and time confirmation into a single screen, remove unnecessary fields and steps, and align workflows with how their users actually performed their tasks. So if you're a plant technician, everything you need for your role is within this one screen. And then we mobilized that same screen and its functions onto iPads. And these customizations aren't limited to one platform. They're designed to work seamlessly across multiple apps. By mobilizing the interface, technicians or field workers can log in the work as they do it instead of that manual back and forth. So, the result of this higher adoption rates, improved data accuracy, and greater efficiency across teams. An example of this impact is in their warranty process. By streamlining how warranties were tracked and managed, Tyson recovered millions of dollars just for the warranty process. Tyson recovered over millions of dollars over a few years. And that's just isolating the warranty process. As another little anecdote, Tyson Foods actually has their brand new trainees on Liquid UI, and the trainees are able to pick it up and use SAP this way because it is intuitive and seamless with their workflow. So, why did Tyson Foods choose us, Synactive Inc., Liquid UI product for these certain customizations? Well, Liquid UI is a SAP certified platform that automates, integrates, and simplifies and mobilizes your SAP interface all on one platform. So, for over 20 years, we've been optimizing how users interact with SAP. That is our sole mission. Now, there are four main reasons why Tyson and other companies similar chose Liquid UI. One, the speed of deployment. Two, the flexibility. Three, native, the native operating system optimized applications. And four, the cost effectiveness and ROI. So, speed of deployment. We've been told that Liquid UI enables customizations up to 4 times faster than alternatives. And why is that? So, Liquid UI leverages your existing business logic, authorizations, and validations, meaning we're not building the UI from scratch. Instead, we're molding it from what already exists. And because of this, because of our unique architecture, Liquid UI does not touch the back end. And since there's no back end coding, you don't need specialized developers to spend time coding on the back, making sure it works on the front. And that reduces the time it takes to get the interface to your users. Moving on to flexibility. Now, one of the biggest strengths of Liquid UI is how adaptable it is. Whenever you design an interface for your end users, you'll often receive feedback about after a month or so. And that's a good thing. It means the interface can be further molded to better serve your users. And because of our unique architecture and where we interact with SAP, as your business evolves, you can tweak workflows, incorporate new platforms or devices, and adapt to changing requirements with ease. Um, Another little anecdote, I was on site with one of our clients, Amcor, a little bit back, and it was a training session for Liquid UI. And plant managers were giving feedback on the Liquid UI interface, and some of the tweaks they were suggesting could be implemented and deployed to users within 30 minutes. Now, Liquid UI offers cross-platform functionality and operating system support like no other. You can mobilize your SAP in literally 30 seconds, and this is because of a technology we call native channel architecture. We integrate directly with the SAP, allowing Liquid UI to leverage the native capabilities of your operating systems. For your business, this native connection means a few things. One, efficiency. Excuse me. By working natively, Liquid UI ensures faster response times and smooth performance across devices, whether it's a desktop, tablet, or mobile device. Advanced features. It also enables hardware-specific functionalities like barcoding, barcoding, RFID scanning, and voice to text, which are critical for teams in environments like warehouses or manufacturing plants. Seamless upgrades. Because Liquid UI is native to the hardware, your SAP screens continue to function even when operating systems are updated, so no additional rework or downtime is needed. And this level of integration ensures your users have the tools they need to perform their tasks efficiently and securely, regardless of the platform or the device they're using. And lastly, the combination of speed and flexibility makes Liquid UI a cost-effective solution. You don't need to exhaust your resources as you don't need specialized developers. And because you are able to deploy your solutions faster, you'll be able to see the return on investment faster. So we've just talked about why organizations like Tyson choose Liquid UI. But how do you put these principles into actions in your own organization? Well, here's a framework to help bridge UI gaps and drive user adoption. The first step is understanding the reality of your users' day-to-day tasks. What are their most critical workflows? Where do they face bottlenecks, inefficiencies, or frustrations with the current UI? Once you've identified where the challenges lie, the next step is to simplify. You can simplify by One, consolidating screens. You can consolidate screens that are spread across multiple screens or apps into one interface. Then you can eliminate unnecessary fields. Focus on the data users actually need to input and hide the rest. And then automate the repetitive tasks. Look for opportunities to automate actions like validations or data population to reduce manual effort. And the last step in this is feedback and flexibility. Even the best designed interfaces will evolve, can evolve. As your users work with the new system, they'll provide feedback on how to refine it further, and this is where flexibility becomes crucial. Use tools that allow for quick adjustments without disrupting workflows. And by following this framework, you can bridge the UI gaps that are slowing down adoption. So that brings us to the end of this snappy presentation. Again, I'm not sure if we got any questions in the chat, but if there are any questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat and we will most definitely get back to you.